You're now listening to episode 25, Start of Play Football. Myself, Theo, as always, man. Kojo, what you saying?
Yeah, I'm okay, man. I'm good, man. What you say?
I was going to say I got the tea ready. I got the coffee ready, man. Need it today, man. But, boy, man, where do we start? Let's start with the positive things, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you go to the audio version of the podcast and do all those good stuff for us. We appreciate it as always. But yeah, man, news broke last night. Again, I felt deja vu come over me. I felt like this was the same time. I think I was even doing the same thing, reading to my kids before they went to bed. The same thing that happened with Thomas Tuchel. The notification came through. Club statement, Chelsea. It was deja vu, bro. I can't even lie. Like, anyway. Anyone who's been under a rock last 24 hours or last 12 hours, 10 hours, Mauricio Pochettino decided to walk away from Chelsea. And I want to hear your thoughts first, actually, before I give my thoughts. I want to hear what you think about that. Was that the wrong choice from the owners to sack him? I'm going to say it's a sacking because that's what I feel like it is. I feel like they've sacked him in a little man way, in a nice way, but it's a sacking. What's your thoughts?
I think it's the wrong decision, personally. The reason why I think it's the wrong decision, and it's only about the fact that, you know, they got an alternative form from, I guess, second half of the season. It's more to do with the fact that I think the one thing that you needed more than ever is stability. I think the second thing you needed is a manager that had time for the young players that you've bought a lot of young players, and he's been good with them, really good with them, in my opinion. You can see the improvements in Caicedo recently. You can see the improvements in Cole Palmer. Maybe Cole Palmer was always that player, but I see he wasn't getting enough game time. At Chelsea, he's exploded into a fine player. You know, giving faith in players like Petrovic, you know, to go and be the number one for the rest of the season. That's the kind of stuff that he's been doing for the club. And I think when you sack him without a clear plan, because that's what it looks like to me, I don't think they've got a clear plan for a manager. You're hearing that they want a young, progressive, a style of play, but then you don't have a name. You don't have a certified name. Yeah, and this is the issue. He's, like I said, beginning of the season was poor, but look, he's got Chelsea back into sixth place. He got them back into the Europa League. He got into a position where you could argue that they can go and progress. And I think the one thing that they should have done is just let him go on and let him have a bit more of a say in who they're going to bring in. Yeah, I think they've undercut him quite badly, actually. So I think it's a bad decision. I don't know where you guys go from here. Me personally, if I'm a manager in a decent situation where obviously I've done enough to impress other clubs that want me.
Yeah.
I don't think Chelsea would be on top of my list because what I see from the outside is a circus. You guys have just paid about, 45 million for another Brazilian youth?
Yep.
What for? Like, you've already spent a lot of money on so many other guys coming that are yet to come, and the guys are already here, and you've already splashed more money on this guy, and it's like, what's the point? But yeah, bad decision for me. Pochettino will be fine. I think he'll find another club. I think he's left his reputation intact because I think if you really assess the situation at Chelsea, you really understand that this is not to do with only like, if you want to call it bad management or bad players. I think just the whole situation for the club ever since Zirbi just left, it's just been a mess. And this is what going to be. You've had Lampard, Tuchel, and Poch in his reign, right? Is there one person I'm missing?
Yeah, we had Soltar. His name's Soltar. He was only there for a game. He only managed one game. But
there you go. Three kind of long-term managers in 2 years. It's a joke to me, man.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think if you're a Chelsea fan now and you're still kind of thinking there's a vision. I remember I've said that. I mean, I'm rinsing and recycling exactly what I've been saying for nearly enough 2 years now. If you're a Chelsea fan and you think there's a clear vision or a project or a process that these lot are trying to do, if this doesn't scream at you that there is no vision, there's no project, there's no idea, nothing, because you can't. Like if you're going to try and do something in a long term, you can't have short term objectives and then like throw your toys out the pram when you don't meet them. Because if you're looking in a long term perspective of things, you're going to have bumps on the road. Like you've changed the whole squad from top to bottom. Like literally, I think if you went back to that Champions League winning squad, I'm trying to think who would be out there. There's probably about 2 or 3 players that who were in that squad that are still at this club now. Do you know what I mean? So you've changed not just the squad, you've changed everything upstairs. Everyone upstairs is different, new faces, new ideas. You're going to come up against a couple of bumpy things on the way. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you should accept them, all of them. Like, yeah, the 2 seasons back to back, well, last season, sorry, when we finished like mid-table, I'm not saying you should accept that or you miss out on Champions League football. I'm not saying you should accept that, but you should understand that if you're wanting to do something in a long-term process, then those things are going to happen. Like, you've changed the whole squad. The whole squad's changed. The manager changed in early part of August, September with Tuchel leaving. You then bring in Graham Potter, who has a whole different idea and a way of he wants to play football. So then the players have to adapt again. That's going to take time again. Then you sack him. Then you bring in Frank Lampard. He's got a whole new way of wanting to play. The players have to adapt to that. Then you get rid of him because he's interim. Then you bring in Pochettino, who's got another way he wants his team to play. Do you know what I mean? So there's all these things that you got to factor all these things in. Yeah. And for me, and I hear Chelsea fans, they're like, oh, but Tuchel, the owners wanted Tuchel to be involved in transfers when they first came on board, Todd Bowley and whoever else. And the reason they did that is because they didn't have people upstairs making those decisions. Like, it was literally just Todd Bowley running around. If you remember, there was a whole thing about he was just running around trying to sign Rafinha, trying to sign this person, and he was in Barcelona 1 minute, then he's in this city, this country. He was everywhere. And that's because we didn't have the structure above. So he needed Thomas Tuchel at that point to help him with the off-field stuff he did. Like, that's just truth. Now Chelsea fans are saying, oh, but look, now the tables have turned and now the owners don't want the manager involved in the transfers. That's because they got people upstairs that should be doing that job for them. Yeah. So, like, that's a stupid statement that Chelsea fans are trying to make, and it's annoying. For me personally, I think sacking Pochettino, and I probably said it before that he needed to go. And the reason I said that at the time is because you couldn't see the progression with Pochettino. Thankfully, I'd say March, April, we got to see the progression because we saw the results. We saw the wins at Stamford Bridge. We saw some style of play, something that Pochettino was trying to install into these players. You got to see it slowly and gradually. And then that's when you get into that position of Europa League football. But had he gone on and carried on and we were still sat in 10th, 11th, then yeah, he might have to go. But fans are entitled to change their mind based on results. That's just in their common sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I look at this and I think the owners now have shot themselves in the foot because, to be fair, Pochettino had the ball in his court. Whether you want to like it or not, he was the one that had the opportunity to call the shots. He can now, like you just said, he's not going to be short of opportunities. He was on Man United's shortlist before they appointed Erik ten Hag. They're looking to sack Erik ten Hag. He might go there. Bayern Munich are looking for a new manager. They were talking about Tuchel. They might say to Tuchel, oh, no, fuck off now. We're going to go and get Pochettino.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So they could go and do that. He'll have opportunities, man. He'll have opportunities. But I think the owners didn't realise now they got to pay him up another year, which is a big thing. They got to pay him up another year because he had another year left on his contract. Yeah. That's more money. You got to think, I factor that into next year's financial expenditures and whatever else. Mm-hmm. And then you got to appoint another manager now. That's going to cost more money.
Are you satisfied with the names that you're being linked with?
Nah, man, come on. I was going to get onto that. Come on, like, I'm not, and this is not a disrespect to any of those managers either, because they've all, if you look at them, their profiles, they've all successfully done stuff in their own way. My issue is they're not things that I would go, oh yeah, that gives you the green pass to go and be the Chelsea manager. Like Kieran McKenna, great job at Ipswich. Yeah. Brilliant job at Ipswich. Like, we can't even take that away. Like, he just won Manager of the Year, I think, last night. You can't take that away from him. Enzo Maresca, Leicester, you can't take what he's done for Leicester as well. But are you telling me that gives you the right then to just walk into a club that is ambitiously trying to get back into the Champions League? Like, is that even a thing? Like, where did they do that?
There's no level of evidence to suggest that any of these guys will be the ones to take you further. And it's one of those things where you just never know. Of course, if you were to hire Mckenna, for example, and he could have done a fantastic job, then cool. But it's what you said before. Regardless, there's still no structure. There's still no understanding of what's going to happen. And for me, if you're someone like McKenna, it's like the same thing about Potter. When Potter's at Brighton and you have everything, sort of like how football is now, you have everything catered to you. This is how it should be. This big circle here. And you want it that way because they have involvement in everything. Same way Pep had to with City, same way Southampton had it with Man United. Everything goes through the manager. You're going to go Chelsea now and have everything go through the owners who, quite frankly, to this day, we still have no evidence that they have a clue about what they actually want to do. Abramovich was unknown, but at least when he came in, you could see a direction straight away.
And
you know what I mean?
And the difference with that is he was able to not be at that club and trust the people that were at the club day to day, running the club to get the job done. Marina Granskaya, Bruce Buck, all of them, man, that were there, and women, whoever were there, they got the job done. And that was as simple as that. So, and this whole sacking, like people are saying, but we've always been sacking managers. We did. But do you know what the maddest thing is? It actually worked in our favour. Because when we sacked a manager, we appointed another manager that was either on the same level or a level above that manager. Do you get what I'm saying? Or you could see that they had potential to do something with the squad. And let's be honest, the squad that they were getting, managers that were coming into the team, the squad that they were inheriting wasn't actually a bad squad. This is a squad. This is a squad of young players that need management. And let's be real, Pochettino, if you look on Instagram, which I don't tend to do, but when you go on there, you'll see all the players coming out. Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, Madueke, Kokore, all of them are coming out, almost defending the manager.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's stupid, man. Honestly, I'm so glad I never done this yesterday, because I think sometimes you got to just sleep on stuff and just not be, like last night I was watching those people's streams, and it's all emotive, like just angriness and just spitting out bullshit. Whereas sometimes you got to put your head on the pillow, just relax, and then just wake up a bit fresh-headed in the morning. But what do you think about this whole idea that Pochettino, because it sounds like what happened the other day, yesterday, was it yesterday, that Pochettino had a conversation with the directors, Paul and Stanley, and it sounds like he wanted more control or more say in who came through the door at Cobham and those players coming in. Do you blame him for that based on the past 18 months or almost 2 years with what's happened at the club?
Absolutely not.
Do you know what I mean?
Look at the funny enough, the team that you've got right now overall isn't a bad squad, but there is such a lack of balance that he's had to work, and he's not blameless. Doing stuff like at times where you see Chilwell as a much more advanced winger or something like that, those things are a bit risky. I don't understand why he done those things.
Do you think that was forced though? Do you think that was forced based on injuries, for instance, or suspensions?
It could be that, but I could also say that I feel like he went down the Mourinho route where when we finished second when he finished second with United, he wanted to bolster the back line and they didn't bolster the defence at all for him. They brought Dallo, who was sent away immediately on loan. They brought Fred into the midfield. And he was not a defensive midfielder, so there's no extra protection for the back line.
Yeah.
And Lee Grant. So he made a point by starting McTominay at centre back, just to be like, I'm telling you, there's a problem here. I feel like a part of the time he done that, but also I think he also realised that the best way to get balance is sometimes to just leave some of the guys out. And I think it was maybe like a blessing in disguise for him that Enzo Fernandez got injured at the time he did. Because when you saw the Gallagher and Caicedo midfield, you did see a better balance, if I'm being very honest. But no, come on, man. If you're going to improve your squad, you got to let the manager have the final say on who's coming in, or at least have enough of a say so he knows who is coming in and he knows what to do with them. I keep saying this about Pochettino. No matter what anyone says about him, and whether they think he's good or not because he hasn't won trophies or whatever, you look at his history at Espanyol, when he brought in the players that he wanted, they overachieved. When they were Southampton, same thing. Tottenham became title challengers 2 years in a row, got to Champions League final because the players that he wanted came through. Dele Alli, Alderweireld, You know what I mean? These kind of talents. PSG, that's just PSG. I don't really care about PSG. But you come to Chelsea and they've just thrown a squad. And like I said earlier on, they're now going to spend 45 million on a Brazilian who, dare I say, doesn't have near the same hype as like an Endrick or a younger Vinicius Junior. Or, I mean, like, there's no... I don't know.
No, I hear you. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, you can continue because I don't know why they thought him saying I want more involvement in transfers they thought was a bad idea because it's interesting to put it, but they don't know about football, so there you go.
And that's my worry. That's my worry. I was gonna say, even the Brazilian that's coming in, I've heard good things about him. I don't know much about him, I'll be honest, but even that, it was a massive warning sign because I don't think that was even, for me personally, was a priority position to even look at. Like for me, goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I know we've got defenders there, but I still think we need an experienced centre back, like someone who's played at the top level, who's like we're looking now. Obviously, Thiago Silva's gone, so Fofana, Badiashile, Disasi, Trevor Chalobah, and that's another thing. Sorry, Trevor Chalobah is there as well, but again, him, Conor Gallagher. I think that was another massive factor because Pochettino came out numerous times and said, "Look, Conor Gallagher, the fans might not think he's the best player, but for me, he plays well, and I see him on a training ground every day. I'm watching this guy. I can see what he can do, and I'll be honest, he probably got the best out of Conor Gallagher. Like the last season that we just had is probably the best season I think Conor Gallagher's had at Chelsea. So he got the best out of him, but you can tell that the owners are thinking pure profit. We need to get rid of these men quick. We need to get rid of them. So Pochettino's probably bumping heads every day with these owners thinking, and I remember recently he said that I can't remember if it was 2 months or 2 weeks, but he said he hadn't spoke to the owner for a time. Like, I was thinking, how is this working? Like, if you're the manager and you're at the very top and you haven't got that level of communication with the man that's day to day looking after your investments, as he calls them, how's that even working? Like, where can you go in a job and not speak to your gaffer for two whole months or 2 weeks, whatever it was, and not have a line of communication? Like that door should always be open for both sides, like manager to owner to manager. So I just think it's a massive decision. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know who comes in. The names, like I said, the names that I'm hearing coming in, even now, Thomas Frank. I heard Thomas Frank last night. Hansi Flick's ruled himself out. There's obviously going to be, they want to go for a young manager so you can rule out Thomas Tuchel. People talk about Jose Mourinho, rule all of them out because none of them fit the profile. And the worrying thing is, sorry, I'm ranting, sorry. But
no, go for it.
The worrying thing is, we've got a young squad and now we're going to bring in a young manager.
Doesn't make sense, bro. Doesn't make sense, man. For their sake, whoever they bring in next better work. That's it.
But it won't. It won't because the owners are there. So if the moment the owners think, you know what, I'm going to fuck this guy off, or woman, whoever, we're going to fuck them off because we're not happy with whatever they've done or they've spoken out of line. Because that's what it seems like. It's like a dictatorship. It ain't about the results. It ain't about, giving the manager time to apply what he wants to apply and get the team right. Like Nkunku's only just come back into the squad. We've got to remember that. Reece James only just came back. He played one game and got sent off. Yeah. We haven't seen Fofana. We haven't seen Lavia. We haven't seen none of these players really. And you're expecting and the manager's done what he can with the squad. And at times I said, he might be out of his depth and whatever, but when you see the progress and you can see things happening, you got to praise him for that as well. Like the same time we're giving him the criticism on the right side, we have to give him the praise. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So whoever comes in, I don't think it even matters because I don't think they're the problem. I think the directors are a problem. Paul Winstanley and all of them idiots that are up there, they're the problem because they're the ones that are hiring the managers. They're the ones that are coming with all these data, iPads and whatever else and bringing them out and slashing them on the table and saying to the owner, look at this. He played unbeaten all season. Let's try and get my man, or follow his philosophy at Leverkusen, Alonso. He got unbeaten all season. Let's go and follow him. Or they're looking at Leicester and thinking, oh, they just got promoted to the Premier League. Let's go and get him. Or they're looking at the Zirbi and thinking, oh, well, we've got the Zirbi's flipping coaching staff. Let's go and bring him in.
Yeah.
Madness out here. Mad. But who do you think realistically will come in and take that job on?
That's the thing, I don't even know. I don't have a name for you.
I'm glad you're not on your own there then, because I ain't got a clue myself, man.
Honestly, when they were talking about the young guys and I saw the names that were listed, it's like, this is scary times, because not that these young managers don't have potential to be good. It's just where they are right now, the risk you're taking is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Mckenna's done great. And I will be the first to tell you, when he was in the coaching staff at Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I was backing this guy up, regardless of results, because the one thing that was consistent, even through the bad times, was throughout the club, from top to bottom, that means from the ownership to the players, him and Carrick were getting praise consistently, because they know the game. And you can see his results at Ipswich.
Yeah.
Maresca, he's done a good job at Leicester, but even Leicester fans will tell you that they felt a bit iffy about him, especially during the running to the end of the season where they started dropping
They
points.
dropped off big.
Anyway, big time drop off. And they should have had the league title secured a long time ago. The one name that did scare me, considering how they just been relegated, was flipping Vincent Kompany.
Do you know what? That didn't even register to me, actually, because it's funny. I was bantering Kompany the night before because I read that he was linked with Bayern Munich. I was bantering all night. I was throwing out banter to people. I was saying, how's the man got relegated and been linked with Bayern Munich? No sooner is linked with the Chelsea job. Do you know how mad that is? You're going for a man that got relegated.
That's crazy.
And Pochettino's got to come back as well. You know, the maddest thing is, he's got to do soccer aid at Stamford Bridge. That's the maddest bit as well. That this is why it's awkward now, because now you got to invite the man back to Stamford Bridge to do soccer aid. I think it's in 2 weeks. It's only like 2 or 3 weeks. It's just before the Euros.
They put this in the statement that they broke up on like really nice terms.
Amicable. That's just PR, man. That's got to be PR because
100%.
Because there's no way, if it was amicable, they would have found a way, an agreement or some sort of compromise for them both for him to be involved in transfers, but them to have the final say or something like that. And if it was that easy to be amicable to walk away, it would have been amicable to be able to meet in the middle. Do you know what I mean? So that's just PR. Them just trying to save face. Now they got to pay him off again. And why do you think Graham Potter hasn't taken a job? Do you know what I mean? The man got paid up.
I saw that he was linked again. So
to us,
yeah.
No. Listen. Do you know what I done last night? I'm not even shameful. I'm not even ashamed I've done this. I signed up for an Everton membership. I'm not even ashamed. I'm not even fucking ashamed. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. I signed up for one, not because I want to support them, but I want to just go and watch football and not have like that anger after the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I go Goodison Park, I don't care whether they lose, win or draw. Chelsea brings, even during the summer, this is the time I'm meant to just enjoy the nice weather, barbecues, beer gardens, look forward to the Euros. Even now, these lot are still pissing me off.
Yeah, I hear it.
Boy, I don't know, man.
Before we move on, let me just give you guys this warning for Chelsea fans in particular as well, because we've got an American owner who has no clue.
I know where this is going, but go on.
It wants to do. And the football's now pissing you off on all angles. Your players are now pissing you off. And you don't know where your club's heading. Does it sound very familiar?
Listen, we're following all the models, yeah? And the one model that we're clearly following, but we're not saying we're following, is Manchester United's, because I'm telling
you guys are in trouble, man.
When the West Stand starts leaking from the top because it's raining, we're going to soon find out whose model we're really following, yeah?
What you said, yeah, that you signed up for Everton membership. Let me tell you, when we sacked Mourinho after we got popped by West Ham and they got popped by Liverpool, I started going to West Ham games.
Yeah. Because it's just nice, bro. Like, you can just
It's
go,
nice.
you can go and enjoy the game. And like I said, if Everton lose and get thumped 7-0 every game, I can come home and just relax. I ain't got.
It's not my club. It's just a good game.
I'm just going out, match day experience, sit there, talk to a couple of the fans, come home. That's it. Do you know what I mean? It's on my doorstep. I literally can get there in half an hour. It ain't that far.
There you go.
I stopped traveling 2-3 hours to go to Stamford Bridge because what am I going there for? Do you know what I mean? So,
boy.
Stress, man. Stress. But let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what you think. Are we overreacting? Should Pochettino have been sacked? Should he have stayed, man? Let us know what you think. But